Hey guys, so I'm back to Verbling after a short break. And today we're going to be talking about the Boston bombings, but we're going to be taking a look at a little bit more than that. So we're going to learn about the death penalty and what that is. And this is for intermediate and advanced students, just because the New York Times has a lot of vocabulary that can be kind of difficult. And so I've posted under our class description the resource, and so I'm going to show you how to get that now by going to screen share. Okay. Or actually, I can just post the link because I have it pulled up. All right. So everyone in class or who's watching the video should go to this link. All right. And we're going to be taking a look at a web page that looks like this. And this is the document we're going to be working with in class. And so Boston's suspect is charged and could face the death penalty.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome to class.
Thank you.
And so are you new to Verbling?
Yes, like it's my first time here.
Oh, okay, great. Welcome. And where are you from?
Italy.
Italy. Okay. And so I see your name is Andrea.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, usually it's a female's name, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Sometimes we have people that share screen names, so they share an account. So I didn't know if you were doing that as well.
No, it's my name.
Awesome. So we're just going to wait a few minutes until more people join class.
Okay.
Yeah. So do you know what happened in Boston at all?
I think it's kind of impossible not to know because they kept on talking about it, of course, but yeah, I mean, I heard that they caught the two guys that, I mean, one is dead, the other one is in the hospital or something like that. So yeah, I kind of know what happened.
Yeah. Awesome. So we're definitely going to take a look at that today through this news article. So we're going to see what could happen to the one suspect that is still alive. I think the 19-year-old is dead. One brother was 26 and one was 19. And I'm pretty sure the younger one is the one that was killed. And the older one is the one that ran through the city and they had down Boston. All right, so welcome to class, guys. I'm just going to post the link again. All right. And then we can get started. So you'll get practice in this class reading out loud as well as answering some of my comprehension questions because I know we have some different levels sometimes. All right. And so I'm moving on to class chat. All right. And so does everyone have the article?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. And so before we start, would some of the other students like to introduce themselves at all? Because I've taken some time off from Verbling, so I don't recognize any of you.
It's my first time, so.
Yeah, and it's your first time. Is anyone else a newcomer to Verbling? So this is your first class? All right. So yeah, if you guys have any technical questions, let me know. Or any questions about what we're reading. And would someone like to start reading for us? So you just have to read. I won't make you do anything else for right now. Why don't we start with Michael Samuel?
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Fine.
Would you be willing to read for us?
Okay.
So could you, yeah.
Boston lying grievously
Previously.
grievously wounded in a hospital bed. The surviving suspect in the Boston Marathon bombing admitted on Sunday to playing a role in the attacks, said law enforcement officials, and on Monday he was charged with using a weapon of mass destruction that resulted in 3 deaths and more than um, uh, 170 injuries.
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 Good.
Uh,
And the next.
okay. Uttering, uttering, uttering,
Uttering. Yeah,
uttering,
uttering.
uttering the word no once, but mostly nodding his response. That suspect, this Hober,
Yeah, so this is really up to you. I can't pronounce that either. We can call him DT. So D and then T. That might make it easier.
this Hober, this whore, this this is name, right?
Yeah, he's from Russia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you pronounce it?
Houston. I can't pronounce that, so we'll just skip it.
No one can pronounce it.
Yeah. In English, you will never find 3 consonants together. So that's why I can't pronounce it. Zhokartsarnev? I don't know. So just 19 was charged.
In a brief but dramatic bedside scene in the intensive care ward of Beth Israel, this the Deaconess Medical Center, where he is recovering from multiple gunshot wounded sustained during his capture last week.
Good. Okay, so I was wrong. All right. So what is a weapon of mass destruction? What weapon of mass destruction did these 2 brothers use? Do you guys know?
A bomb?
Yeah, so, yeah, exactly. When we say weapon of mass destruction in English, to anything. So this is any device. Okay, so any device that can harm a lot of people. Okay, so I don't know why I mean. Oh, okay. So this is a new feature that's kind of annoying. All right, so a weapon of mass destruction, any device that can harm a lot of people. And so how many people died and how many people sustained injuries?
Three people died, and
3 people died.
and 170 has injured.
Yeah, were injured. Were injured.
Were injured.
Good, yeah, past tense. All right. And what hospital is Dzhokhar in? Did you catch the name? What hospital?
What has to charged in brief but dramatic beside intensive ward of Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center?
Yeah, exactly. Good job. All right, so he's in Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center. And why is he there? What kind of wounds does he have?
He recovering from multiple gunshot wounds sustained during his capture last week.
Yeah, so in other words, the police shot him. So we say maim, and I'll write that word. Maim. All right. So to harm him just enough to capture him or to arrest him. All right, good. Would anyone else like to continue reading for us? And we are on the third paragraph. So around here. All right. How about Abdullah Turgut?
All right. Okay.
Awesome.
Mr.
I am sorry.
Pardon? Okay. Mr. Tizanev made his admission on Sunday morning to specially trained FBI agents who had been waiting outside his hospital room for him to regain consciousness. After he woke up, they questioned him, invoking a special a special
Justice.
okay. A special Justice Department public safety exception that allowed them to interrogate him without telling him without telling him he had the right to remain silent. No, okay. In the course of questioning him about whether he knew of any other active plots or threats to public safety, he admitted that he had been involved in laying the bombs that killed 3 people at the finish line of the Boston Marathon.
Yep, and we'll go the next 2 paragraphs, if that would be okay.
Yeah, okay. He said that he knew of no other plots than that he had his brother had acted alone, and he said he knew of no more bombs that had not been detonated. At the legal hearing Monday, he shook his head in response to most questions. The brief bedside session began when Magistrate Judge Marianne B. Bowler asked a doctor whether Mr. Tizanev was alert, according to a transcript of proceeding.
Good, awesome. Okay, so has anyone watched a cop show, a police show from the United States? So does anyone know what happens when a police arrests you? What do they say? Does anyone know?
Well, when the criminals are arrested, they are questioned by the police. So what they did do on the crime day or on the day of the crime, yeah. If they have any eyewitnesses, if they can prove that if they have an alibi or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so first we read you your Miranda Rights, which they talk about. So it's called Miranda Rights, and you should hear, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say or do may be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to consult an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you. Okay, so I've heard these a lot in television shows, and they mention this in our article, and we go back. And so did anyone understand what the police did in this paragraph?
I think
the third paragraph.
In well, they questioned him, and they didn't tell him that he had the right to keep silence.
Yeah. So even though he is an American citizen, I'm pretty sure,
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
American, naturalized, I think.
yeah. He wasn't born in the U.S., so he may not have known that you're supposed to have these rights said to you. Um, so he answered all of the questions without an attorney. So that could be a problem. We'll see what the rest of the article says if they talk about it anymore. But at this point, it looks like he was, it sounds like he was young and scared. I don't know, he's only 19 and he answered the questions of the police. And so what did he tell the cops? And so I'll use those words interchangeably. So what did he tell them?
He just said that he was responsible for setting the bombs at the finish line of the running competition or of the marathon, and he said that he didn't know of any activities that he and his brother acted alone, and he didn't know about the other bombs, about the bombs who were exploded.
Yeah, so he said he worked with his brother. We got that. Good. He set up the bombs. Perfect. And then the last one, just to clarify, he doesn't know of any other bombs. So he only knows of the other, the ones that they set up. They aren't associated with anyone.
I'm not good at summarizing, sorry.
No. You did a really great job. Hey, you got 2 out of 3. So it's really great. All right. And so we're going to continue with the article unless anyone has some questions right now. Okay. Awesome. All right. Okay. Would anyone like to continue reading? Where at this sentence you can rouse him? Yeah? I think I heard someone saying me.
You can rouse him, the judge told the doctor.
Okay, yeah, Jose A. Yeah, we're right here, so please read. That'd be great.
What?
Go ahead with reading, please.
Yeah, Jose, you can read.
How are you feeling? Asked the doctor, identifying the transcript as Dr. Adam. Are you able to answer some questions? He nodded. Judge Bowler then read Mr. Chanaev his rights. Also present were 2 United States attorneys and 3 federal public defenders who will be representing him. Judge Bowler asked if he understood his right to remain silent, to which he nodded affirmatively according to the transcript. The only word Mr. Chanaev uttered apparently was "no" after he asked if he could afford a lawyer. Judge Bowler said, "Let the record reflect that I believe the defendant has said no." At the end of the session, Judge Bowler said, "At this time, at the conclusion of the initial appearance, I think that the mentally competent and lucid. He is aware of the nature of the proceedings. If convicted, face the death penalty or life behind bars."
Good. And one more paragraph.
Mr. Chanaev is being treated for what court papers describe as possible gunshot wounds to the head, neck, legs, and hand. One law enforcement officer dies. The one to the next appeared to be the result of a self-inflicted gunshot. The charge was lodged in a criminal complaint to United States District Court for the District of Massachusetts, the first step in a lengthy process.
Great, good job. All right, so we're going to go over just what happened here. So this is the initial questioning you can rouse him. So when we say rouse, we mean you can shake him to wake him up. You can wake him up. So I'll write that. Okay. And then could Mr. Tsarnev afford a lawyer? So we use these two words interchangeably as well.
I think it means if he is able to hire a lawyer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so does he have the money for a lawyer?
Yeah.
So how many lawyers does he have? He has how many attorneys?
There's no one at his side because he said that he can't afford it.
Yeah, so at first he says, I cannot afford it. So the government gives him 2 attorneys, or 2 lawyers, and 3 public defenders. So he's going to have 2 people in court that present the argument, and then the federal public defenders are more people who are doing research, making deals, getting information about the day, and they're going to try and help him. Okay, because we have to prove that he's guilty first. So in America, we have a saying. Does anyone know it? Okay. It's you're innocent until proven guilty. So even though we have some evidence against him, he still is going to trial, and we still have to prove that he is guilty and deserves the death penalty or life in prison. And so does anyone know what the death penalty is in the US?
It is the electricity chair. No, I forgot it. The death penalty is...
It started out like that.
Yeah. They give him a jab, and then they set him. Or was hanging the death penalty? No, I'm not sure about that. No.
So I think it started in the U.S. Hanging definitely was one of the first ways to of the death penalty.
Okay.
The second was the electric chair.
Yeah.
So if I guess 1950s Truman Capote, you've heard about the serial killers in the South. Truman Capote wrote a book about them, and they killed the murderers with the electric chair. Today it's by injection. So you were right, some kind of jab.
Okay.
An injection, sorry, hold on. Okay, so it essentially stops your heart and your organs from working, so you have organ failure. And it's supposed to be painless and humane. But it can take a long time. You can sit on death row. In death row are the prison blocks, the prison cells. It's a special hallway, usually for people that are going to die. But you can sit there sometimes for 10, 15, 20, 25 years until your death day comes. So it takes a long time, usually, for that to happen. And so he is either going to receive the death penalty or life behind bars. So he'll receive 150 years in prison, and he won't last that long. So he'll die before his prison sentence ends. Does that make sense? So, like... Okay. So his lawyers are going to fight for the best deal. because obviously this kid does not want to die by death penalty. I mean, no one really wants that. But he did try to do something. They mention in the article, before he was captured, he did something to his neck. Did anyone catch it? I can show us the paragraph. And so we have some viewers. If you guys want to join class, that'd be awesome. It's a private lesson right now for Jose and Fuzi and Abdullah. But if you guys want to join, that's also great as well. So in this paragraph, if we take a look, what did he do before the police captured him? So I'll give you guys a minute to look over.
He tried to shoot himself, right?
Exactly. He attempted suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. So this isn't the happiest topic ever. I'm sorry, guys. But I think it's interesting to keep up on current events, especially since I don't live in America either. So getting to know more. All right. Okay. And so would anyone like to continue reading? I don't think we've heard from Fuzi yet. Would you want to read for us? Hello?
Fuzi?
I think he may be having some technical difficulties because his screen is frozen.
Okay.
And it looked like he got kicked out of class before and came back in. We can almost hear you. Maybe in a few minutes your, I guess, connection will be a little better. All right. And we have someone else joining class. All right. So Taha, would you want to read it all for us?
Yes, I will be reading.
Okay, great.
Could you volume up a little bit?
Yeah. If you could just turn your volume up or talk into your mic a little louder. We can't. I have good hearing, but I don't know if some of the other people can hear you.
Can you hear me?
A little better.
Yeah.
Okay. Which paragraph I will read?
Yeah. So if you take a look at the screen, I hope
Okay,
this
I
is.
saw.
Okay. Awesome.
The White House said that Mr. Sarney would not be placed in military detention. We will prosecute these terrorists through our civilian system of justice, said Jay Carney. And
Go ahead.
The White House press secretary.
I couldn't find.
Oh, he's lost.
Oh, it's okay. All right. It should be in orange. And so we are right here.
Okay, the White House press secretary, he noted that it was illegal to try an American citizen, but I lost it again.
Sorry.
Yeah, just click on the window of Laura, then you will not lose it again.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, in a military commission, and that a number of high-profile terrorism cases had been handled in the civilian courts system, including that of the would-be bomber who tried to bring down a passenger jet around Christmas 2009 with explosives in his underwear. The charges against Mr. Tsarnaev were made public about the same time that Boston, like many cities across the country, held a moment of silence at 2 11:50 p.m., the time of the explosions a week before, hundreds of people gathered in Kabul Square, near the scene of the attacks, after which church bells tolled mournfully in a cold, wintry wind.
And then read the next 2 paragraphs, if that's okay.
Okay. Already hundreds of mourners had attended a funeral at St. Joseph Church in Manford, Mass. For Crystal Campbell, the 29-year-old restaurant manager, killed near the finish line of the marathon. In the evening, hundreds more attended a memorial service at Boston University for Lindsay, 23, a Chinese graduate student who was killed in the bombings. A service is planned Wednesday for Sean Collier, 26, the MIT campus police officer who was killed in his car Thursday night.
Good job. All right. And we can actually hear you very well now. So whatever you did to change it, the volume's great.
Okay.
Okay. So does anyone understand the problem in this paragraph? Does anyone know what is the difference for civilians versus terrorism cases? It's a little confusing. Do we have different types of courts in the U.S.?
Yes, we have.
Yeah. We have state courts, which are minor offenses, and then you have federal. So this would kind of be either in a federal court or a military court, but it's confusing because he's an American citizen. So usually the military deals with terrorist cases, but he's a U.S. citizen. And they said there have been some exceptions. So an American citizen tried to bomb a plane in 2009. And so his case was handled in civilian court, so federal court, because that's more serious offenses. Federal court is for murderers and drug lords, things like that, more than your traffic ticket or your parking ticket. Okay, so they're trying to figure out which sector of the American government should actually have his court case. So that was the first problem. All right, and then we're just going to pause a minute for Fuzi. So Fuzi, can you say something? Okay, so I think your mic is muted. All right, so I'm just going to do a technical lesson for a minute.
Technical lesson.
Okay, so the page gets kind of weird looking, but we see my cursor. It should be right over the chat box right now, and I'm moving it. We want to go to this symbol, and when it's red, we can't hear you. When it's white, you should be unmuted. So maybe that's the problem. I'm not sure. So I hope that helps. Let me know on chat if you understand or not. Okay, and so we'll just keep that in. Yeah. Okay, so we said that 3 people had been killed, and they talk about 2 of them. We read about 2 of them right now. So who was the first? Who was it that died? And they had a memorial for her on.
It was Campbell, Crystal Campbell, and he was a restaurant manager. He or she, I don't know. It sounds like a female name, but I'm not sure. It is female name. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not familiar with names.
No, it's okay. it's really hard for me to pronounce a lot of my students' names here as well, so don't worry.
Okay.
Mhm.
Then the second was for a Chinese student.
Mhm.
And I think there will be another memorial
Mhm.
for tomorrow, I think. No, yeah, for
Yeah.
tomorrow, for the police officer, Sean Collier, who
Yeah.
was killed in his car on Thursday.
Yeah, great. And so what happened at 2:50 p.m. on, I guess, Monday?
You mean this week or last week?
On this week. At
Okay,
2:50 p.m.,
okay.
what did Boston do? And some people throughout the U.S.?
Yeah, the people held a moment of silence
Yeah.
just in order to honor the dead people.
Yeah, exactly. So right now I just want to maybe talk about a sign of respect in your own country. So if you want to get some practice speaking, so in the United States, in my country, it's a sign of respect to have a moment of silence to remember people. And has anyone seen The Hunger Games at all? It's a recent movie. They do a sign of respect. It's 3 fingers. Okay, so is there a sign of respect in your own countries for people that are lost to things like this, or for police officers or firemen or servicemen?
Well, in Germany, there are not special signs. We just stand up and we will have a moment of silence like in America. That's all.
Okay, so a similar tradition, stand up. You take your hat off, I assume. So
Yeah,
if you have a
sure.
hat
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Yeah, interesting. What about Jose? Is there a sign of respect in your country? Or Fuzi, maybe we can hear you this time. Or Alihan Aliyev. Alihan Aliyev. So, sorry if I say your names completely wrong.
I think I'm your only student here.
No. It's all right. One-on-one tutor session and everyone else can follow, so it's all right. You get a lot of practice speaking, Abdullah.
Yeah, I hope that.
All right. Okay, and so I think we're on the last paragraph of this section. So if you guys are afraid of speaking, would you like to read it all again? Anyone?
Come on, guys.
All right. So to give you a little bit of a break, Abdullah, I'll read this part because you'll probably be reading the next section. Okay, so Mr. Sarnev and his brother, Tamerlan, 26, are accused of going on a violent spree that ended in Tamerlan's death and Dejokkar's capture in a boat parked in a driveway in Watertown, Mass., about 7 miles west of Boston. New details were included in the affidavit accompanying the criminal complaint, which also outlined the evidence that law enforcement agencies have collected linking the 2 suspects to the bombings. However, there was no mention in the affidavit of the killing of the campus officer, nor any explanation why it was not mentioned. All right. You guys know what an affidavit is?
Yeah, affidavit. I think it's I read this word before. You have to affidavit. It is like for example, if you are questioned what kind of belongings you have, you have to how do you say that you have to not promise, but you have to assure that you don't have any belongings with you?
Yeah. So promise, make an oath.
Yeah, make an oath. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
what I was looking
Good.
for. Yeah.
Yeah, so an affidavit is a written statement. So it's a written oath.
Yeah.
I'll write the word down. So yeah, you're promising that what you're saying is true. Or what, so what you're saying is true, either as a witness or a police officer about what you saw or smelt or found. So you're not lying. All right. And so, oh, Kansu, we have a new student. Would you want to read for us? We're on the second page. So if we go to page 2 of the article and first paragraph. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Awesome. Welcome to class.
Thank you. This is the first time I'm joining.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So this class, we're reading the New York Times, and so I can post the link to the article, or you can follow it
Okay.
on our screen. You should be able to see it instead of my face. So, yeah.
Only we can read?
So we're on page 2.
Please.
It's a reading class. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're just reading and talking.
Okay, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
You
Awesome.
send the link?
I
It's
posted.
about
Yeah,
psychology?
I have posted the link. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, well.
In the chat.
Yeah, so we have a couple of options for chat, and we are in class chat, which is the blue link on the left
Okay, I
of our
understand.
screen. Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
You're welcome.
my first couple of classes were like this as well. I didn't know what to do with all the buttons. So,
Yeah.
My English sometimes is not enough to understand, I think.
It's don't worry.
yeah.
We
So
all everybody has a problem with English, so but we are here to learn and to improve our English, so don't worry.
yeah.
Yes, I want to improve my English because I have a new job and I have to speak always English.
Okay.
But it's not enough, I think.
Congratulations, by the way, on your new job. You will get a lot of practice speaking here. I just use articles so we can talk about something different and sometimes, I don't know, important, I guess, and learn new words.
Okay.
So, yeah. So welcome to class. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you.
Did you open the article, the link?
Yes, I open it. It's about the Boston suspect exchange, right?
Well,
Discharged, yeah.
we are on page 2 right now.
Okay. Yes.
Yep, and we're on the first paragraph.
Yeah, okay, I see it.
And so would
Yeah.
you like to read for us?
Okay, thank you. The affidavit sworn by Daniel R. Gang and IFB special agent assigned to joint terrorist task force in Boston. State, which one is correct? I don't know.
Cited.
Stated
Mm-hmm.
surveillance video as it detailed the movements the brothers made around the time of the bombing. In chilling detail, the affidavit describe how a man is referred to as Bomber 2, whom it identified as Das Walker.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not English, so don't worry.
Okay, could be seen apparently sleeping his knapsack onto the ground. Video from a nearby restaurant showed the bomber remaining in place, checking his cell phone and even appearing to take a picture with it. The affidavit said then he seemed to speak into his phone.
Great. And so just pause 1 minute. Sorry, Abdullah, I'm going to call on you. Can you explain to class again what is an affidavit?
Affidavit means to promise or to make an oath that you tell the truth about something.
And so it's a written piece of paper. Yeah. So just making sure that all the details are going to be on this document. Yeah. And the truth. All right. So we have someone describing what they saw. And they're saying us Bomber 2, who was the young boy, and this is his name, the one we could not pronounce, that he wore his knapsack and he put it on the ground. What's another word for knapsack that it's more common?
It's rucksack, sorry. Rucksack.
Okay, so we have a rucksack.
A backpack.
Your backpack the most often.
Okay.
So knapsack or backpack. Rucksack even works. So good. And then he takes a look at his cell phone and takes a picture of his backpack. Kind of weird. All right. And then he speaks into his phone. So does anyone know in the past how bombs have been detonated? It's kind of a new trend with this technology, with the cell phone.
I think it was detonated. Yeah, they used the cell phone to detonate the bombs.
Yeah, so they either call a cell phone within the backpack or within the bomb, and they use it that way. All right, and so we'll give you some reading practice. Hold on. Okay, so Abdullah, would you like to continue reading for us?
From a few seconds?
Yes.
Okay. A few seconds after he finishes the call, the large crowd of people around him can be seen reacting to the first explosion. The court paper said virtually every head turns to the east towards the finish line and stares in that direction in apparent bewilderment and alarm. Number 2, virtually alone among the individuals in front of the restaurant, appears calm. He glances to the east and then calmly but rapidly begins moving to the west, away from the direction of the finish line.
Good. Okay. 1 sec. This word, bewilderment, what's a synonym we can use for this word that's a little bit easier for us to understand?
Apparent.
Any ideas?
Widely? No, not widely. Befuddled, maybe?
So surprised.
Surprised.
Befuddled works as well. Confused, maybe. So maybe a mix between and surprised.
Yeah.
All right. And so everyone else all these runners are bewildered. And what does, what's his name? Djokar Tarsanev, is he surprised or is he calm?
He was calm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he began to move rapidly to the west, just far away from the finish line.
Yeah, exactly. So this cannot be a coincidence. He can't be the only person that has such good instincts and also has a strong connection with the backpack and a cell phone. So they're showing us that this is some evidence that he is one of the guilty people. All right. And can you continue for us?
Yeah. He walks away without his knapsack, having left it on the ground where he had been standing. The court papers said, approximately 10 seconds later, an explosion occurs in the location where Bomber 2 had placed his knapsack. Just 7 hours after the FBI released pictures of the two suspects on Thursday afternoon to the public, one of the suspects emerged in Cambridge, pointing a gun at a man sitting in his car.
Good, and so we'll stop there. So what happened? He put his backpack on the ground and he walked away. Then what happened?
Then he was seen in Cambridge.
Mm-hmm. And what happened to the backpack? Did someone pick it up?
No. There was an explosion. I mean, there was a bomb in the knapsack, and it exploded.
Yeah, and then you were right. Then within the next day, one of the brothers is seen in Cambridge with a gun. So good. All right. Okay. And so would anyone else like to read who is in class at all?
Come on, guys. Say something.
Okay. Hello?
Hi.
Yes, awesome, Jose. Okay,
Finally.
great.
Sorry, but I don't speak English very well, and I don't understand.
It's okay, just read.
Yeah, I think you're doing really well. So, and you did really well reading the last time.
Okay.
Yeah.
The affidavit said that the driver eventually escaped and his stolen vehicle was located soon thereafter in Waterton. As the two suspects drove around, they tossed at least two small improvised explosive devices from the car window. The affidavit said, when the police caught up with the men on Laurel Street, they engaged in a gunfight. At the scene of the shootout, the FBI found more clues. Two unexploited improvised explosive devices and the remnants of normal explosive devices, which were similar to those found at the scene of the marathon bombings, and at least one was in a pressure cooker. The affidavit said the pressure cooker was of the same brand as the one used in the marathon explosions, it said. As the legal process was playing out, investigators were still working fiercely to determine the motives of the attacks. A lawyer for Catherine Russell, who married Tamberland Sarnaif in 2010, said that Mr. Russell found out that her husband was a suspect in the bombings only after the authorities released the photos on Thursday. I continue.
Yeah, just this one line, and then we'll stop.
She was
there.
shocked, said the lawyer, Amato at the Luca. She had no idea.
Good. All right. So, what do the police find when they, or let me try to rephrase this. What happens? They get in a car, and the brothers get in a car, and what happens?
They hijacked the car, and then they went to Watertown, and they set other explosive devices from the car. No, they tossed it. Oh no, they throw it away from the car window.
Yeah, so they had homemade bombs, and they're in a stolen car, and they throw them out the window as the police get closer to them.
And when the police caught them up, caught with them, sorry, they started to shoot.
Yeah, and so they started to shoot between the cars. Good. And then they found something that was the same as in the marathon explosions. What was it?
Well, the FBI found two other explosive devices, and the remnants. I think the plans for exploded devices, maybe the instructions. I don't know if it's remnant. I don't know. I believe it's an instruction, isn't it?
So a remnant is a leftover.
Leftover.
So
Okay.
they had practiced with a bomb, or maybe they had taken a big bomb apart and made smaller bombs from it. So they had pieces of similar bombs in their apartment.
Okay.
And they found a pressure cooker, which is used in the kitchen to cook food.
Yeah. And it was of the same brand that they were used during the explosion.
Yeah. And the older brother is married, and what was his wife's name?
His wife's name was Catherine Russell.
Good. So the eldest brother, who was 26, was married to Catherine Russell. Did she know that her husband was planning an attack on Boston?
No.
No, she didn't know that he was involved, or that he will involve in these actions.
Good. So this is a common expression in English. She had no idea.
Yeah.
So you can say, I had no idea, he had no idea. That's the past tense. How would we change that to the present tense? So if you're having a conversation,
I have
with
no
one of-
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah.
Or he has.
No
So
idea.
just to give the example of both verbs. Good. All right. Oh, okay. And does anyone want to read the final paragraph?
I read.
Awesome. Yes.
Mr. DeLuca said that he had been speaking with the law enforcement authorities, but declined to say whether Miss Russell had. He also declined to elaborate on whether his client had seen changes in her husband recently. He did say that his client didn't speak Russian, so she could not always understand what her husband was saying.
Okay. So Miss Russell, does she speak Russian like her husband?
No,
No.
she doesn't.
Exactly. And who is Mr. DeLuca? Who is this man who's speaking?
It's the lawyer of Mrs. Russell, I think.
Exactly, yeah. So Mrs. Russell, Ms. Russell, I think she kept her maiden name. Yeah. She has a lawyer, just in case. It's always better to have a lawyer for the publicity. So good. Especially if you're married to a bomber, I guess. All right, so does anyone have any questions before we end class in the last minute?
No.
All right. Well, thank you for the students who stayed the whole time, and for some of our new students. I know this was a difficult class and not the happiest topic, but I love the New York Times. It has a lot of rich vocabulary. And I have more classes this week, some intermediate, some beginner. So if you want to go over numbers and I think the alphabet, pronouncing the sounds, I'm going to have a few classes like that. So we have some viewers, so just in case they want to check those out.